Okay, everyone, I am going live because these storms are starting to go tornado warned and they are coming very close to our main area, southwest lower Michigan, northern Indiana, all those different regions. So let's see if I can make myself go live on Instagram as well. Wasn't expecting them to come this close to the area, but it turns out we might see some interesting activity from these storms as they move in. I can see your comments, so make sure to leave comments if you have questions as I go through these storms as they approach. It appears we may be in for some action tonight. Going live on Instagram. Alright, so 2 tornado warnings out right now. This one over by Wheatfield and La Crosse, Indiana, just got issued. There's one close to Chicago, Gary, Indiana. We're going to take a look at the rotation signatures on these storms. Both of them showing signs of weak rotation right now. You have rotation in both cells. Let's take a look at correlation coefficient to get an idea of if there's any debris. No signs of really any particularly strong debris fields. That would indicate the tornado being on the ground and actually having a little bit of strength with it. But these storms are starting to move into Indiana at the present moment. Additionally, a stronger cell that has produced a tornado back in Illinois is moving into Indiana as well. Let me get a look on the severe thunderstorm warning. Tornado possible, evidenced by the tornado warnings that have just been issued. Can you guys see what's on the screen? Yes, you can. Good. Alright. So if you live anywhere around the area of Gary, you should be taking cover. Valparaiso, it's on the way to Valparaiso areas in that region. La Crosse, Winneta, DeMatha, Couts should be taking cover. There's also severe thunderstorm warning with rotating potential in this cell here as well. They issued a severe thunderstorm warning on it. Let's check the velocity on that and see if the rotation is still there. The rotation is a lot weaker in that cell. Looks like it's not really going to amount to as much, which is good. But these storms are, if I were to measure it in miles, about from the state border, about 64 miles away, so they're about an hour away from the Michigan area. That Jonesboro tornado that I've been talking about for the past few hours on my social feeds is still on the ground. It's expected to remain on the ground for the next hour. It hit another nursing home in Truman, Kentucky, but there are reports of no fatalities or major injuries from that. So very good news there. And as of right now, these tornado warnings are nothing, well, they're not extremely concerning given that the rotation signatures are not super strong. It's looking a little bit stronger now in this cell over by DeMatha. Got some chasers on those storms too, which is good. There was a threat for tornadoes in this region this evening, but not as much of a threat as compared to what they've had down south. There's the new tornadoes that are on the ground in near Jonesboro, following the similar track as the one that is heading up into Kentucky at the current moment. Alright, these storms are tracking at a northeast pace of about 50 miles per hour, so let's get a track on this one here. It'll be in about the state line in about an hour. And then this one, this cell here, if I'm going to get a track on it, less than an hour before it reaches the Michigan state line. This line still has a long ways to go. It's got about an hour and a half before it reaches the state line, and it'll likely be weaker by then. As it heads north, it'll start to lose energy because the temperature is gradually cooler as you head northward. temperatures have been warming up throughout the night tonight and have been able to build a lot of heat and moisture for these storms to really just take off. But down south, they've had a lot more heat, a lot more moisture. And this particular cell has just been so impressive to watch develop on radar. Let's take a look at this radar scan. One thing that you can easily tell that a tornado is on the ground with these cells is if it has a little hook echo. And this one still has a hook echo. The hook echo is not as well defined as it was in the past couple of radar runs, but hook echoes really give us some idea of where the storm might be. Alright, let's see how long are these tornado warnings lasting here. 16 minutes on both tornado warnings. So 16 minutes, these tornado warnings will expire if not reissued for more distant regions coming up. Let's look at the severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Valparaiso University is under this threat. Got a track on it here. Let's take a look at correlation coefficient, get an idea of debris. Some little signatures here and there, but I don't think it's going to be enough to amount to the clear debris signature. There might be a few spin-up touchdowns from this storm here and there, as the rotation is a lot stronger, is a little bit stronger in this storm than in this one over here. Moving east-northeastward at about 50 miles an hour, and will likely cross the Michigan state line soon. This one is going to be entering Indiana soon. Let's get a track on that one. This one is definitely much stronger than the one that is moving through northern Indiana at the moment. Let's go to the tornado warning. Tornado warning's expired there. See if we can get a track on this new tornado warning here, because they've issued another one. I can't get it. Really impressed with how quickly these storms have taken off. Cedarville University, you have a storm cell coming your way. Doesn't look to be severe or producing anything like rotation. Don't see any strong rotation with that cell approaching you guys. Alright, let's go back to where the real problems are at in our area. If you have any questions about what you're seeing, feel free to leave a comment and I will give you some information regarding it. Looks like you got really more of a high-end damaging wind threat coming through right here, while you still do have a little bit of rotation in this tornado warning cell here. So what I'm looking at right here is the velocity chart. What I'm looking at with this is anywhere you see green. Green indicates wind that is going towards the radar site. The radar site is marked right here. And red is wind that is going away from the radar site. So you can see where I'm getting that rotation from is this green value and this red value. And it's kind of visible here too, but not as much as it is in the cell farther south, which makes sense because the cell farther south is in a much more favorable environment than the one farther north. Let's take a look at how these will play out on the latest HRR model run. We'll go to the regional map and do a little forecast loop with reflectivity. See what we can get with that. Alright, so here's the current radar map. Looks like these storms are going to stay in the extreme southern counties, potentially, except the one in Gary might cross over the lake and head into Van Buren County, Michigan. Joining from Valparaiso, which one are you guys in? Alright, here, let me take a look. So we're going to go back to the live radar here. You are currently under severe thunderstorm warning, not under tornado warning yet. Uncertain if the National Weather Service will reissue this tornado warning. It expires in 12 minutes. If they do believe that there is still good confidence to believe that a tornado warning will occur, they will reissue it. But really where we're seeing the rotation right now is right about here. It's really broad, which gives me reason to believe that they might not reissue the warning, but that's up to them. Yep, the warning just expired, so Valparaiso, you're just under severe thunderstorm warning. Meanwhile, you just have a tornado warning just south of you in places such as Wheatfield, La Crosse, and that rotation is definitely more visible by radar, so makes sense that that warning is still going on. Once this line rolls through, though, you should have pretty good reason to believe that you should be in the clear in terms of severe weather. Let me check these storm cells out in the back. Yeah, these ones won't really amount to anything powerful. No problem. Alright, now we can take a look at that warning that is down in southern Indiana. Radar confirmed tornado heading across the Illinois state line within the next few minutes. Man, that Arkansas tornado is still on the ground. It's been 2.5 hours. Tornado emergency for Princeton, I'm guessing. Particularly dangerous situation. Wow. That tornado is going to be one historic tornado. It's the first tornado to ever cross 4 state borders in American history, so pretty historic storm we've had pretty much across the country this evening. Still capable, but no reports of an actual tornado on the ground with this system. Of course, I'll be still keeping a track on it. It looks like they're starting to trim out that warning box. But that's some intense wind. Let me get a measurement on that wind. That is 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts being shown by radar from places such as Ogden Dunes, South Haven, Valparaiso. So Valparaiso, you will be facing a little bit of damaging wind gusts, up to 70 miles per hour ahead of the cold front. It looks like this tornado down near the border is starting to intensify based on radar images. Yeah. This one down here is just still going very strong. It looks like it's re-intensified some even. This one's been on the ground for 2.5 hours. It's gone through several cities, damaged 2 nursing homes. There have been a couple fatalities. Very, very dangerous storm down in Kentucky right now. What about these storms down here? Looks like these storms are producing tornadoes as well. Alright, they've just reissued the severe thunderstorm warning for LaPorte, towns of LaPorte, Roaring Prairie, Kingsbury, Stillwell. Let's see if they report tornado possible. Yes, tornado still possible. So they've reissued the warning. Kankakee, Stillwell, Hamlet, Hannah, La Crosse, St. Pierre. You're going to want to keep an eye out for a possible tornado warning if this storm happens to re-intensify. Let me look at the velocity charts. Special marine warning on the lakeshore. These storms are starting to move into Michigan. Wow, that tornado in Arkansas is just absolutely crazy. I cannot believe how long that thing's been on the ground. You don't see tornadoes like that. You see those once every, like, yeah, you very rarely see tornadoes like that. It's just in such a favorable environment. Very favorable environment. Alright, so it looks like they're going to allow the tornado warning to expire, but they're still saying tornado possible with the storm that is moving into LaPorte, Indiana right now, heading towards South Bend, Cass County, and parts of Berrien County. We'll see if it holds together long enough to cause any severe weather activity. There are 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this storm, as evidenced by the radar indicating it. If I go to 69 miles per hour, still getting 70-mile-per-hour readings from this storm. News severe thunderstorm warning out for Plymouth, Tyner, Monterey, Culver, Argos, Bourbon. Damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour with that storm. These storms are now racing off to the northeast at 80 miles per hour, so they've really picked up the pace, which is why I think it's going to be more of a damaging wind event, because these storms are just racing off with the cold front. Very fast moving supercells. A lot of tornado reports all along Arkansas, Kentucky, understandably so, because they have had a very significant day in terms of weather today. No confirmed tornadoes off of these storms yet, at least up to this point. Let's check the Cedarville area, make sure that take a look at those cells approaching the Cedarville region. And it looks like to me there's still no rotation with those cells, so that's good news for anyone in the Cedarville area. This line of storms seems to be turning into more of a straight line wind mode, and maybe the potential for a quasi-linear convective supercell QLCS tornado possible. But these storms are just racing off the east now. Another special marine warning for the Lake Michigan shoreline right along Berrien County. Got damaging winds with these storms moving in. Let's take a look at that tornado down in Arkansas again. This radar site's gone dead. What's the wind speeds looking like on that thing? Still very high, 90 miles per hour. This storm is in one of the most favorable environments we've had in a long time for tornadoes. There's what it looks like on real radar. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect. Tornado warning that was just south of Valparaiso has now expired. Now it's just severe thunderstorm warnings continuing onward. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts moving northeast at 75 miles per hour. The fact that they're starting to slow down is actually a good sign because that means they are weakening. They're approaching cooler air as they head off northward. If you go north of, say, let me show you, it's snowing if you get up into places such as Big Rapids, Ludington, those places. But just down south, you have this severe weather outbreak that's taking place. Just gives you an idea of how powerful this low pressure system is. Velocity, let's take a look at the possible rotation that's taking place in these storms. So far, nothing super concerning except there's a couple little sections of rotation in this storm here that I can see. And potentially here as well. Something to watch as well. Alright, let's get the zoom out. All these little red dots you see are storm spotters. They are keeping track of tornadoes if they enter the region so that they can potentially provide information about tornadoes to people who might be in the path. It's that kind of information that saves a lot of lives in these types of scenarios. This tornado is still on the ground. This one in Arkansas, well now in Kentucky, has been on the ground for 2.5 hours and it has continued across 4 different states. New tornado warning issued for that storm in just entering the Indiana border soon. There is a tornado actually on this storm as well, so still the hazard being 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Alright, take a look here and see if there's a new model run. Nope. Alright, these cells should clear out of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio by 8 a.m. tomorrow. So Ohio, you're going to have kind of a late night with regards to severe weather continuing. So, and on the backside, we're going to have some lake effect snow in the state of Michigan, perhaps northern Indiana as well, right after we get through the intense weather that we're seeing right now. So far, so good. No really clear signs of rotation in these storms. As long as there's no tornado warning in this area, that's a very good sign. Still looking good with the latest radar update. It is getting quite late, but weather doesn't stop. That tornado in Kentucky is still on the ground after almost 3 hours. It's about to make a direct hit on Dawson Springs. Yeah, Dawson Springs is going to take a direct hit. It's hit Princeton. It's hit Benton, Mayfield. This thing has hit so many towns in the past few hours of, I think they just issued a tornado emergency for Dawson Springs. Yep. I think that's what they just did. I can't access it, but that is what they just did. Very dangerous situation down there. Nothing concerning on radar just yet. But these storms are racing towards our area right now. Looking on the back side of it, you can kind of tell that there is some rotations trying to develop, but the rotation is too broad to amount to anything. Amount to anything that can make a real difference. Alright. Alright, let's see what this tornado warning is prompting here. Jonesboro has seen about 3 tornadoes today. This storm's producing a tornado. This storm's producing a tornado. This storm probably producing a tornado. Capable of one. And this one will be probably a tornado that is remembered in the record books. It is just hitting Dawson Springs. Okay, I want to take a look at the correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient is a good way to measure what kind of debris is in the atmosphere as a result of the tornado hitting certain things, and it looks like it may have passed just north of Dawson Springs, which would be fantastic news. Let's take a look. Yep, it passed just north of Dawson Springs. Good news. This could all be debris lofted into the air by the tornado, because look how it kind of sources for itself from the tornado. This tornado has hit so many different towns. It's one of the most devastating tornadoes I have ever watched progress on radar. Alright, so here is the activity right now, moving into Michigan through northern Indiana at the current moment. Alrighty, Instagram, I'm going to sign off for just real quick. I may hop back on in just a little bit to get some more updates, but I need to take a look at some things. So, I shall return. Alright, we're going to check Twitter to see what the latest is on that Arkansas tornado. Let's take a look. The weather community is all over Twitter today. Downstream watch might be needed in Indiana. Let's take a look at that discussion. Yeah, the dew points we have up in our area are just not supportive enough to produce tornadoes in severe weather. Dew points in the 50s, meanwhile, just down south there's dew points in the 60s. So far, that supercell down in Arkansas has produced 5 separate tornado emergencies for 5 different towns. A lot of damage down there. Alright, these storms are beginning their approach to southern Michigan. And the Detroit radar is out. That is really bad timing. Alright, there's a rotation signature according to this map. Not really a good one. It's appearing to be more of a heavy wind, rain, and lightning event. Alright, well, if a tornado warning does happen to be issued in the southern Michigan, northern Indiana area, or the Cedarville area, I'll hop back on. But for now, I think I will most likely sign off. Again, always leave a comment, send me a message if you have questions overnight. I'll probably be half awake all night. So have a good rest of your evening and stay safe.